Okay, hi you guys. Hello, hello. I'm Coach Nikki, and I'm honored and excited to be here with my sister Aimee. And today we are talking about superfoods and weight loss, but really just maintaining a really healthy body via all the amazing things that we have available to us, be it food, exercise, all kinds of stuff. So before we get diving in, if you guys can please just type in where you're calling in from. Of course, if you're driving, please don't do that. But just where you're calling in from. And then if you're watching this on replay, I really love to look back and see if there's any questions or comments or anything like that. So please type in so we can all really be connected from wherever we are logging in from. So again, I think most of you have probably met my sister. She is a physician, so this is Dr. Aimee Warren in the house. We are at my daughter Coral's, and we are writing our book. Very, very, I don't know. I think the best thing about writing, I know actually, the best thing about writing a book is you. And it's been like our time together.
Oh, yeah, it's been amazing, and I feel like it's helped me so much just in my own personal life and with my patients. So it's been really special. So I'm really excited about it.
I know, I can't wait to share it with you guys because really it's been something that's it really has helped me personally as well, and helped yeah, just really diving into the unlimited potential that we have as human beings, and especially as connected human beings, connected to one another. So today, again, we are going to be talking about superfoods and optimizing your weight, whether it's weight loss or whether it's gaining muscle or whether it is, so whether it's like gaining muscle wherever or losing visceral fat, the fat around our stomach, it's really important to think about all the things that we can add on to our diet. And today we're going to talk about some superfoods that can make us just feel alive. So, if you have somebody like a patient coming into your practice or coming in to see you, what do you suggest as far as like either losing weight or optimizing your body?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like lifestyle optimization, I always lean on the sort of pillars of lifestyle medicine. So, lifestyle medicine is a sort of a subspecialty, and it's a certification that really helps providers dive into the lifestyle factors that make a huge difference for patients. And it really those are the things that I lean on when patients come in and talk to me. So, those are plant based whole food diets. There's 6 of them: plant based whole food diet, exercise and movement. It's sleep and making sure that you're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. It's stress management, which is a huge one, and connectedness. So connection to others is definitely a huge integral part of wellness for patients and for everybody. And then also limiting harmful substances. So those are the 6 things that I really try to dial in for my patients and help to kind of problem solve and create healthy goals around those things.
I love that. So both Aim and I are huge advocates of what is the term crowding out. So as human beings, and that's why we're talking about superfoods today and how helpful it is in weight loss or and sometimes again like with gaining muscle. But when you're thinking about how to get yourself to behave in a way that's optimal for your body, because most of it's up here. Like we all know to eat healthy, we all know to exercise, we all know kind of the basic fundamentals, but how do you get yourself to do it? That's a big thing, right? And so we really believe in crowding out.
Yeah, I think the additive behaviors, the working to think about ways that you can enhance your health, not by taking things away, but by adding things in. So, talking a lot about, you know, increasing fiber in our diets as a way to crowd out some of the more processed and highly added, like addictive foods, like the
Right.
sugary foods, the salty foods, that kind of stuff. So adding in those superfoods that Nikki's going to talk about today, and really thinking about, just eating plenty of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables every day, and adding in some of these superfoods that can definitely help optimize our health. But that trying to think about in a way that when you're adding in, say, if you have a goal of maybe 5 fruits and 5 vegetables every day,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing your efforts on that, it really helps to like, I have to add these things versus I can't eat that. Or I think it just helps with our psychology a little bit to make us move more toward healthy behaviors.
Probably many of us that are on the call, probably all of us, have felt the difference between additive behavior and restrictive behavior. So even if you think about like a budget, if you're thinking about like, I have this amount of money to spend, you always kind of want to spend more. You're like, ugh, like it's just like a human behavior. It's the same thing like with calorie restriction. If you're like, I can only have whatever, 1,500 calories or 1,200 calories, then at the end of the day, you're like, I want more food. Where if you're saying additive behavior, and like Aimee suggests with her patients, is getting that 25 to 35, even up to like 40 grams of fiber, 45 grams of fiber, is looking at like what you're eating and you're like, dang, I still need to eat 10 more grams of fiber by the end of the night. How am I going to do that? And so it's just really working with like that human behavior and making us really like think about like, oh my gosh, I'm so full, I can't believe I have to eat like more. And it's just human psychology. So that might be something helpful. Maintaining a healthy weight is a lifelong adventure. And it's not something that and why we don't suggest like going on these diets, because this is something that we want to do for our whole entire life. We want to be able to, and you're never going to get to a point where you're like my mom, happy birthday, mom. Tomorrow is her big birthday. But you're never going to get to an age at whatever birthday that you are celebrating that you can just kick your feet up and be like, oh, I don't have to eat healthy anymore. I don't have to exercise, and I don't have to think about optimizing my body. We will always be doing this together till the day we leave this beautiful planet. So when you are thinking about this lifelong adventure, there's many factors that are included, like your lifestyle, like your basal metabolic rate, so your metabolism, and that has a lot to do with how active you are. So that like activity, gut health, which we'll talk about like gut health today, your hormones, and kind of like what you're eating. So all of these play a huge factor into where you're storing fat, how you're building muscle, and how you're optimizing your body. We could, which we are in our book, going to go extensively into all of this, but for today, we're just going to like layer on some of the things that you can add right now to your current, whatever you're currently eating. You don't even have to change anything, but what we've seen in your patients, what we've seen in thousands of clients that we've helped in Kaya, is that this additive behavior works, and that you just naturally eat less of the junk and you eat more of the good stuff when you start with the good stuff first. So I'm just going to fly through these really quick. Adding an apple a day, it's something that I've done for many, many, many years. Is I just cut up an apple, put cinnamon, because cinnamon is also an appetite suppressor. It's really really good for that metabolism. But an apple is full of fiber, it's got micronutrients, and it's a great little snack. So I think also creating bright lines. So if you are going to eat between your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, create a bright line and say that snack is whole food, plant-based, regular, right off the vine. So whether it's blueberries, raspberries, apple, all the things that we'll go over, that is, instead of like dips of hummus, like, there's like when you're having like snacks, sometimes you can just go crazy when it's something that's processed, and minimally processed. Hummus is still minimally processed. So just try to snack on these things like an apple a day will really, really help you with like your fiber and your antioxidants and your vitamins and minerals.
I think an apple a day is a great thing because it's a great food on the go. So I typically am super in a hurry before I have to go to work or I have to eat between patients, and I inevitably have a sliced up apple and a jar of peanut butter. And it's sort of like an ongoing joke in my office. Like if you ever want snacks, go into my drawer because I always have lots of fresh nuts and seeds and apples with peanut butter every single day. So looking at having like easy things that you can snack on, so it kind of keeps you on target with your health goals and not reaching for the healthy and less healthy snacks that are commonly in our office. Like there's ding dongs and granola bars that have like 35 grams of sugar in one little thing.
Little yogurts or
yeah. So I think that's just a healthy snack on the go that really helps me kind of. And the peanut butter, if I don't do the app, if I just do the apple without the peanut butter, I feel like it's less satisfying.
Right.
I always.
Yeah, and you can add like a little handful. Like I usually do almonds or walnuts because walnuts are really good for brain health. So all of these like almonds, walnuts, they're all superfoods. So superfoods really are just the nutrition, like the nutrient dense foods that have the biggest bang for your buck. So when you're looking at like the foods that can give you the most energy, the most antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, all of this, that's what we're talking about today. So an apple, even though like superfoods, you kind of think of like maca and you think about some of these like
more exotic foods.
Right, but really superfoods are the cruciferous vegetables. They're like green tea is another one that is really awesome. It's really great for, and how do you say it's catechins? It's catechins. I always struggle with that, but it's catechins. But they are really good for increasing your metabolism. It helps you burn fat, and it also helps you get rid of water weight. So if you have a lot of edema in like your ankles, so drinking like a few cups of green tea, if you're sensitive to caffeine, you can get the caffeine free, or just drink it kind of in that like early afternoon time. But green tea is another one. Lentils are a really incredible superfood to add. They're full of protein and they have a resistant starch that has been shown to boost your metabolic process. So there's all kinds of different lentils, red lentils, black lentils, green lentils. You can buy the lentils like even at Trader Joe's that are already cooked. You can put them in your salads. You can put them in your soups. You can put them on the side of whatever meal. You can put salsa on them. Put broccoli, do like a veggie stir fry in the morning with pico. So many fun ways to add lentils.
Yeah, Case actually, our other sister Casey, she's shared this little quick recipe. It's the lentils from Trader Joe's, the ones that are already pre-cooked.
Yeah.
A can of organic coconut milk and some spices like spike and salt and pepper, and that's like my favorite thing. It's so
it
fast,
sounds so good.
And I just pop it in the microwave at work, and I eat that, and it's like so filling and so good. I love lentils. I love legumes because of the fiber. So fiber really helps to kind of clear our body from toxins. It helps lower cholesterol. So those are all
Makes
really
us feel
great
satisfied.
Yeah, it's
full.
like kind of sometimes a common complaint or something I hear from patients is like, oh, I can't be vegetarian, or I can't go plant based because I'm always just feeling so hungry. It's like I feel like I eat all day long, but really filling things like the walnuts, the peanut butter, the lentils. Like I eat it a lot, and those things really do help keep me satisfied and feeling like I am not deprived. So
Awesome. And so we talked about berries, but berries like raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, those are such a perfect. Coral has, my daughter, we're here, if you missed it at the beginning, we're here in Petaluma at my daughter's house writing a book. And she has this huge raspberry tree outside. And we just keep going out there and like snacking on these raspberries. They are so full of antioxidants, and berries are like that perfect little like nature's candy. So having clean berries around is one way to keep your weight optimal. It also helps with that visceral fat, which is so incredibly important. We talked a little bit about like nuts, but including like the almonds and the walnuts and the seeds are really good for your omegas. So great, rich in like vitamin C and zinc. And that's also known to suppress the sweet cravings. So if you do have like, I love, which, it's kind of like a little bit of an effort, but you have like the raspberries and then you put the almond in the raspberry and it's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I just pop them on.
Yeah. Apple cider vinegar has also been known for centuries to really help with the carbohydrate absorption of your food. It also helps with like the acid alkaline levels in your body. So those are some of the things. I know we just have a few more minutes, but I wanted to ask you, so when somebody's coming in, and I know we talked about this at the beginning, but when somebody's coming in, what are the things that you're like, this is helpful in weight loss, or this is helpful in like feeling empowered in your body?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a question that I get a lot, and it's so hard. Patients really struggle with this, and we all struggle with this, right? Our weight can really go up and down throughout our whole lives, and it's something that I think about all the time, and my patients definitely can fight this, and the diet yo-yo, those things that we've all heard about. But so when somebody comes to me asking about that, I usually try to steer them towards some sort of coaching or group practice that everybody's sort of plugged into the same common goal. So Kaya is a fantastic resource for that. There's other coaching groups out there and health coaches, things like that just help you, one, figure out where your pain points are as far as like the foods that you're eating or
emotional stuff.
Yeah, like there's a whole in-depth psychology around the things that we eat and why we eat them. There's a lot of cultural things that can really be tough to kind of work around, cultural foods and things like that. So I think having a health coach or somebody there to sort of support you in your health goals is really, really important, and having that accountability is really what makes or breaks it for most people. Doing this on your own is it's really, really hard. So that is number one for sure. And then going back to the crowding out, I always try to suggest to my patients that they count fiber versus calories. So again, it's just playing into that human psychology. And if you can count fiber and try to get in 25 to 35 grams every day, it's hard to do, so you really have to be intentional and focused about it. And that really does help to kind of crowd out some of those more highly processed, and just giving them tools, like the apple in your purse. And so you're not feeling like you're out in the world and starving, and McDonald's is easy, right? You just pop right in and it's delicious. But so you have to kind of plan, but that counting fiber versus calories is a huge one also. And then balancing out with lots of water, because fiber, I think when you first start doing that and you're not used to it, sometimes it can make you feel give you lots of gas and all those sorts
and
of
cramping.
Yeah. So you got to really pay attention to,
and increase your fiber slowly.
Yeah, how much water you're taking in. So that's a huge one too. Just trying to focus on that, and it helps with your skin and helps to clear out your guts, all that stuff. And then also just incorporating more movement. So I think we tend to focus on exercise, like how much exercise am I getting in every day? But really, when you look at the data, the patients who incorporate more just organic movement throughout their day have a lower morbidity and mortality than the patients that just do, say, even 45 minutes of on-purpose exercise every day. So those two cohorts of groups, so the 45 minutes of exercise versus the movement all day, the patients that move all day typically have lower incidence of heart attack, stroke, comorbidities. So
still work out.
Yeah.
But then continue to move all day. If you just work out at 5 a.m. and then you go sit all day long at the office, that's a problem. And so the more that you can get up,
use a stand-up desk.
You can do one of those little walking things under your desk. Like, just be creative with ways to, like, when you go to the bathroom, instead of just going straight to the bathroom, do a quick like lap around the office, get outside for 2 seconds and look at the sunshine.
Yeah. So like if you have like a half an hour lunch, maybe eat for 15 minutes and then go for a 15-minute walk, or eat for 20 minutes, even go for a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference, So yeah.
Speaking of, I wanted to just finish. I know we have like 2 minutes because we are actually going to go to Instagram right after this on to my Coach Aimee Warren page. If you guys want to, I wanted to. So we have been like experimenting. AIM has called my mom, Steph. She's called in a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor. She's gonna put it on me, and then I've done it once before, but I'm really excited to do it again because what we found, and you don't need a CGM. I'm not saying that you should go get one by any means, but what has been nice is having like Aimee wear one, having me wear one, having my mom wear one, having Steph wear one. And what we found in general is and kind of going back to like the topic of weight loss and superfoods is if you eat your superfoods first, what we've seen between all of us and patient standard, right? Like across the board is if you eat your superfoods first, your veggies, your lentils, your fiber first, then your glucose levels don't shoot so far up.
Yeah, a continuous glucose monitor, it's essentially just like a little catheter that goes underneath your skin and it monitors your blood sugar. And I like these because it really gives us like instant feedback on the things that we're doing. So I feel like I'm a pretty healthy eater and I'm pretty active, but when I wore one, it really modified my behavior. Like every single day I learned something new about how I felt and how my body processed sugar and the different types of foods that affected me versus maybe didn't affect Nikki or my sister so much. So you don't need one, but I think it can just be really helpful, like to have that instant sort of feedback about the things that you're doing in your life and the things that you're eating and just paying attention to how you feel. I think a lot of times I just would be like, oh, I'm just tired today. But then I look at my blood sugar, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was the big old sandwich that I ate that is making me feel like crap. So I feel like it just really helps to modify behavior really quickly and easily. Patients have had a lot of help with this, patients who struggle with prediabetes and that kind of thing. It really helps to kind of give you that instant feedback.
Yeah, and I'll keep you posted because, like I said, I did it the first time, but the second time, I am really excited to just kind of see what some of the modifications that I have made personally. So I actually did the opposite. Like when I had it on, I was like, what's a cookie do? Like, and normally I wouldn't just like eat cookies, but I'm like, whoa, what's happening? So this time I'm going to be better behaved. And what you can start right away is, and Aim's already talked about this, but including walks after every meal, just a quick walk after every meal will really help level out those glucose spikes, which when you have these big spikes is when our pancreas is working too hard. It's that onset of like pre-diabetes and diabetes, and it can cause weight gain. So eat your veggies first is one thing that's really, really important. Eat your veggies first, then your protein, then your carbohydrates. That's a good way to like monitor things. And then really, like Aim said, is listen to your body. If you're feeling tired and sluggish, ask yourself what you ate, because knowing on the inside that there's a lot of things going on to help you absorb your food in different ways. And if we're eating too many things that shoot that glucose level up high, it like wipes us out of energy.
Yeah, and even just knowing that a 10-minute walk, no matter who I've seen the data for, so myself, my sisters, my patients, a 10-minute walk always helps your blood sugar. So even if you make a bad decision or you run through the drive-through and it's not your best day, you can always do a little bit better by just taking that 10-minute walk, and it really, really does help. It's incredible. Like it's just short. I walked around my parking lot of my office a couple of times and my blood sugar just went down so nicely. So it's great feedback, and it's not something that you have to have a glucose monitor to know. Just in general, if you can just bust out a 10-minute walk, no matter what what you ate. I think it really is just going to help our energy level, and you'll feel better. And that is kind of like a little trigger, like, oh yeah, I do feel a little bit better. Maybe we'll continue to
Digesting
do
the
that.
food,
Yeah,
right.
It's just like that feedback loop. It's like the reward that you get from a 10-minute walk. I instantly felt better, and so I continue to do it. So just paying attention to yourself, I think, really helps, and just knowing that those things, just kind of paying attention to how you feel and what you did beforehand can kind of reinforce it.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Aimee. I really
Yay!
appreciate it. It's been so great. So just a quick recap. Superfoods for optimizing your weight and weight loss this is a lifelong project. Aimee talked about the different pillars of health, but if you're thinking about how you can add food in to help your mind and help you just feel better, think about adding blueberries, green tea, an apple a day, lentils, berries, almonds, apple cider vinegar, chia seed, flaxseed, mushrooms. So we sell like our kaya mushrooms. These are incredible mushrooms. They're so organic. Different medicinal mushrooms are so good for your health. Thinking about your gut health. So fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, tempeh, miso, all of that. Also like any kind, not any kind, because you do want to be careful with like the pre and probiotics that you're taking, but maybe a pre and probiotic, especially before you're traveling or you're doing something like that. And just get out there and get some sunshine, get some walks, because that helps you. The food that you take into your body, it helps you digest it, takes all that nutrients and creates just a stronger, healthier, happier you. So thank you guys so much. Love you. Please join us on Instagram right now if you want to jump over there at 8:30. It's just Coach Aimee Warren, and we are going to do the continuous glucose monitor. Mwah. Bye, guys. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mama.
It's Mom's birthday tomorrow. Love you.